journey that I'm going to be beginning and going to be starting. We're going to be looking at one AI style each week, because I know a lot of us are stuck in the same rut where we are constantly doing Pixar, or we're constantly doing watercolor or things like that. So there's a lot more out there. So go ahead and share this out if you can, because again, they're going to restrict me. I have appealed that. We'll see how that goes. But they said that my content was unoriginal. The only thing I can think is I've used this image to promote the class tonight. So we'll see how that how all that goes. I'm still learning a lot when it comes to TikTok and what we're supposed to do. So first of all, my name is Melissa Burgess. I am a vet tech and a pharmacy technician, and you're wondering how in the world did I get to AI? Well, I've always enjoyed creating images and things like that, and AI is allowing me to do that because I can't not draw a stick figure to save my life. But I do have creative thought processes. So this is allowing me to get that out. I am in no way meaning to compete with those that have that wonderful talent, and I absolutely do love that talent. So please, if you have a chance, go out and support artists that have those skills. Unfortunately, I am not one of those, but I hope that possibly with creating some of this art that I will eventually be able to support some of them and purchase some of their art, because it is well worth the value and the time that they put into it. So I am the founder of Snuggly Shark Studios, and I had a vision because I used to teach and my program closed, so I want to keep teaching, and this is going to allow me to do that. And so I'm excited. It's going to be a long journey. If for some reason this platform disappears, we will continue on Zoom. And if you have downloaded the workbook, I'll have your email, and I'll make sure that I send out that link to you so that we're able to continue learning no matter what gets in our way, because life does get in the way. So I'm going to go ahead. This is, if you want to go ahead and get this prepared in your email, this is an email that I created for tonight. I'm working on learning Discord and how to set up Discord. So if anybody is great with that and wants to help me, that would be wonderful. But what we're going to do is you're going to take and send your, goodness gracious, we're just getting them left and right. I'll peel that one as well. We're going to go ahead and send your images in, and we're going to be able to go ahead and, sorry, I'm having to answer their questions. I don't know why they don't like my art, but anyway, this is where we're going to send our art to, so you'll be able to share with everybody. In the future, hopefully we'll have Discord where everybody will be able to dump their images in there, and then it makes for a fun experience so that you're able to see everything. So once again, I'll go ahead and give you a chance to get that copy down really well and see where we're going. So hopefully we'll get through this class. They keep giving me issues, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, so historical context. We're talking about the Byzantine Empire. So what am I really talking about there as far as that goes? So the Byzantine Empire is approximately 330 to 1453 AD. Now this is not going to be a history class, okay? So in the workbook it will give you a little bit more detail, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the historical context of where this art form is going to come from. So they used these little bitty guys that are, and I may be mispronouncing it, but the tesserae, which is the little blocks that you think of when we create these beautiful mosaics. And there's no way in the world that I could take pieces of brick or glass and that are about the size of a Tic Tac and create something like this. This is just wonderful, just absolutely beautiful. A lot of the key characteristics for this time period is, of course, they had these glass and stone little bricks. They also often, you will see the gold background. So if you're in any of the older churches and you're able to look at that beautiful mosaic art and you'll see the gold in the background, you'll see that as a representation of this time period. A lot of this was religious art, and this is how Christianity was helped to be spread. And it talked about spirituality. Also, it talked about power. We'll talk about that when we get to the colors in a little bit. But again, you had these flat images that the characters had little depth, but they had really high symbolic importance. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. How does that affect us today? Well, today we still obviously have these in the churches and those areas. Sorry, my cat's doing something in the background. And then we still use mosaics today to try to create beauty in our own homes. So this is something definitely, thank you for the gifts, guys. Sorry, like I said, y'all are on one side and my main screen's over here. I will get a setup that will make this work well, but thank you very much. So this is going to be able to be in our homes and those kind of things. So what do you see here when you see these images? What kind of things are you seeing? What are you noticing? Anybody have anything that they put in the chat that they're noticing? Are y'all still with me? Or did I lose you? All right, well, I'll go ahead and say some things I noticed. Of course, obviously we notice all this gold here. We notice these halos that are around the figureheads and all of that information. Let's see, maybe I'm supposed to... Nope, there we go. Let me see real quick. Let me add that. Okay, so that is working. So basically those are the things that we're going to see. Now what I want to do as we go through these different styles is I'm going to have 4 images that we're going to use in each of the different styles, and we're going to create those same images in all the different styles. So again, if you get that workbook, you will have the possibility of creating those images. You'll have the prompts for them. So when we look at these, we talked about the tesserae, the gold background, the flat figures. There's also symmetry. They're always usually facing forward, and they have rich jewel tone. Often they'll have geometric borders. So let's talk a little bit about prompt writing. So prompt writing, when we're writing prompt writing, we are basically having to explain to a child what we are seeing in our image. So in this, we would include all the different colors, we would include what the people are doing, we would get very detailed as far as that is concerned. So again, thinking about what you see, you would have a person dressed in robes with a gold halo, holding a Bible in a mosaic style. Those kind of things are things that you're going to be looking at. So let me go ahead and the first one we're going to look at is Bing. So on your computer, if you want to go ahead and pull up Bing, then we are going to take a look at how to stylize for that. So with Bing, Bing is kind of like a storyteller, and each week we're not going to go through deep into these on how to do these. In the future, there's going to be a lot more art exploring. That's why I picked this one to be first, because there's not much variation of it. But in Bing, basically, you're going to do your subject, your style, the key visuals, artistic techniques, and any vibe words that you have. You want to make sure that you use full descriptive sentences or clear phrases. It's also good to just use regular language, so you can include the style early on, such as in the style of is the good way to put it. So a good way for a prompt to look, and you can screenshot this if you like, or again, it will be in the workbook on how to do this. It would be a subject, which you could say a cat in Byzantine mosaic style, featuring gold leaves, servants, whatever you want to put in there, with cheerful mood using whatever color palette it is. So that's what we're going to be looking at when we're working on our things tonight. So the first one that I did, and this is one of our images that we're going to keep following through with, is the Byzantine mosaic of a young girl. So I told it what I wanted, the style, young girl in a yellow raincoat and boots, front facing, which didn't quite get that, but standing in a puddle with gold tesserae background, flat style, symbolic pose, and mosaic tiles. Well, that seems like a lot. So the good news is that when you go to Bing, so let's go over to Bing, we want to tell it a story. Now, what did I say that we needed to start with? We need to begin with our main subject. So we're going to go ahead. Our other subject that we're creating a lot let's actually do a different one. Let's do, say, a fairy tale castle, because I've been doing some fairy stuff lately, and so that'll be kind of neat. So if you're mentioning in the chat, I am not seeing the chat scroll anymore for some reason. So if you're mentioning things in the chat, I will try to check those out in just a moment. So please just bear with me. If somebody is there that can answer questions for me, that would be great. I would greatly appreciate it. So we're going to be looking at a fairy tale castle, and then we want to say for being, remember it's like a narrative, so we're going to say what we want to see it as. So let's say a fairy tale castle on a hill, and let's say we want soft morning lights falling on the top of the castle. And then you put a comma when you're going to talk about something else. So pink clouds. And for this one, I am going to go ahead and put Byzantine Mosaic. In a minute we'll do it fairy tale style because it'll be prettier. But hit create. So I've created that subject. I've told it what style. I've told it what I'm wanting to see in it, and following that pattern. So now Bing is going to create me some items here that it thinks meets the criteria for what I was wanting. And that's a pretty picture. So again, we've got the light coming in. We told it about the pink. We told it was a fairy tale castle. It's not getting quite the mosaic. This is a little bit more because it's got the castle version. And then that's a pretty castle as well. So again, making sure that you put your subject in there, what style you're wanting, what aspects you're wanting to see. Those are all items that we're wanting to look at. Now, when we do this, you want to make sure that you're not giving it overcomplicated prompts. Again, you are limited as to amounts that you can put in there. And you also don't want to ask for multiple things or images in one thing. You want just a woman sitting. You don't want a woman sitting, cooking, reading a book, and tending to the fire. That's too much for Bing to understand. It wants to be a little bit more solid, okay? So don't expect in Bing as also to have readable words and text. If I try to tell it to say the words, let's say with a banner, which is happily ever after, it's going to spell like a kindergartner. It is starting to get a little bit better, so that we're able to see some things change and improve with that. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm not seeing the chat move very much at all, so I'm hoping that I'm not missing some questions in there. But I do greatly appreciate everybody that's stopping by. So when I did this, if you'll notice, happy, that's better than it's been doing. It adds extra words into it. So if we want to spell, Bing is probably not the one that we want to go to. So let's go ahead, and again, if you've got the prompt guide, you're going to have some suggestions in the workbook. So what I would like to see you take a second to do while I'm getting the next one set up is we're going to take the prompts, and I want to see what you've got of a sleepy fox in a teacup. So again, if you have any images that you create tonight, I would like you to email them for tonight only to snugglysharkart@gmail.com. And I'll leave that up for a minute. But I want you to go to Bing and try to create a sleepy fox in a teacup. And I want to see what kind of images that you come up with. So I'm going to really quick throw that image into my a sleepy fox in a teacup is what I'm giving you. You get to create the rest of it. So So I'm going to let that generate while I run over here, and we're going to learn a little bit about Midjourney. Now Midjourney is going to be a little bit different. So with Midjourney, you can go to it through two different ways. Ooh, that did not come over very well. Hang on. I don't know why that's showing up so big. Give me 1 second. See, no video signal. Okay. There we go. I just made it mad, evidently. So with Midjourney, you're going to notice a difference. There's a lot more things here, and Midjourney is a paid set. So you will have to pay a fee in order to use Midjourney. It should come back up here in just a second, I believe. So when you're with Midjourney, you're going to type at the top, and your prompt's going to be a little bit different. So with your Midjourney prompt, you may want to screenshot this, or again, you can download that workbook. If you're in Discord, you're going to use the prompt that is on the top there, the / imagine prompt, your subject, details, style. You're going to notice with this one that here you have V6 and AR. This is telling you which version you want it to use and which aspect you're wanting to use, what size you want it to be. So that is going to allow it to be prepared for whatever products that you're creating. And again, in my workbook, it goes more in depth because I only have an hour here, and it tells you the V5, 5.1, 5.2, and 6. And I noticed today when I went in, there is now a V7. So they are trying out a V7, which is going to be even more different. So again, these things age and adapt just as quickly as I can create them, basically. So if you're on the website, which is where I like to create, you basically type the same as above, making sure that you're going to pay attention. You don't have to put the / imagine prompt. You just put in the subject, the details, the style, the lighting, the camera angle, and the texture. So we're getting a little bit more involved when you're using Midjourney. So don't ever use vague prompts with Midjourney, such as cool art or awesome scene. You want to be very specific with Midjourney. You also want to make sure that you're not going to get perfect logos necessarily. Midjourney, again, is getting better, but it is going to spell like a middle schooler, perhaps, I would say. So that's what you're going to be looking at and those kind of things. So again, with Midjourney, you're going to do subject, style, key visuals, and artistic techniques, and vibe words. So what I'm going to have you do first is we're going to do an image of a tree representing life. So we're going to go to Midjourney. Again, you will have to have a subscription to be able to use Midjourney now. There's no longer a free version of it, unfortunately. So you will need to have a subscription. But I'm going to go over a few things here real quick. Again, this first week is going to be, there's not as much art to it as trying to get you to recognize things. Again, we do have a version 7. So that's great. It allows us some new things, and it's asking for your opinion on whether you like the images or not. So it's great to go ahead and do that as well. So looking down here, we've got different things. We'll go into a whole class on these if you're interested in doing those. But the big thing is when you get a picture that you like, you can zoom in, you can look it over, see if it's everything that you like. But you can actually This is all that I typed in for this prompt. Image of a tree representing life in the Byzantine Mosaic style, version 7. That is all that I typed. So if you want to go ahead and type that in, so I gave it my subject. I told it exactly what style I wanted. I can be specific and tell it the light that I want as well. Those are all things that you can do. You can look next at the camera style. Do you want it to be an angled view? Do you want it to be looking straight on? Do you want it to have a textured appearance? So those are all things that you can get. And Midjourney is very creative in the forms that it does. So this is the prompts. Of course, that's the one that I picked that I really liked. You're going to notice that it's keeping the gold aspect to it. This one kept the mosaic tiles to it. You're going to notice this through a lot of our different programs. So if you're wanting a mosaic or a possibly even a stained glass look to it, then this is kind of the program that you may want to look at. You cannot do inappropriate, violent, or explicit. A lot of times celebrity, brand names, or political are also blocked on this particular thing. So I want to show you these that I created. I did the image representing life and the electric guitar. So these are the ones that I picked up. Now you'll notice with the guitar, instead of making it into an image like this, it created actually a guitar that was made out of a mosaic. So, but if I get an image like this and it's dark, you can always click on edit, go down here to filters first, and see what other filters you have, because a lot of times with this particular art style, you can go to Capri and it will light up that gold for you, kind of like it was backlit, and then you can adjust how lit up you want it to be. So I do suggest when you're doing images that you do go down through here and see what all you have. I could give it a soft look, again toning it down to where I want it to get the picture that I want. There's one that I always scroll down to check out. I hardly ever use it, but I always check it out to see what the X Pro Plus looks like. In this case, I do kind of like that. So make sure that you are checking out your different filters when you're in Canva so that you're able to see what kind of changes can be there. So next, I want you to try, and we're going to send this one to the email. So again, let me back up to that email real quick for you so that you can send it over. Hopefully we'll have some submissions. snugglysharkart@gmail.com. So screenshot that for you if you need it. That's where we're going to be sending our images tonight, so we can take a look at what you've created during class. So let me go back down here. Now I want you to create, and you get to decide how to create it. You're going to put in for a steampunk hummingbird. So steampunk hummingbird, so that means that you're going to have like mechanical wings, some gears. Let's do it in flight with a digital painting effect for this first one. And then we're going to change that, and we're going to go to the Byzantine mosaic and see what we get. So a steampunk hummingbird with mechanical wings. Design it how you would like if you have Midjourney. If you don't, you are welcome to go ahead and do it in Bing as well. So let's go back real quick and see what happened with my sleepy little fox here. So I put a sleepy fox in enchanted forest sitting in a teacup at an elaborate table. So you see, I did not do a lot of information. I kept it very basic for Bing. That one's kind of cute. Probably what I would do is I would change it to a watercolor style in this case, because it's an enchanted forest, or you could do fantasy style. Those would work as well. But let's see what it brings up for us for that. These would look really cute on, that one's cute. He looks happy with himself. These would look cute on cards, possibly. So that would give you some ideas. Just for fun, because we are discussing the Byzantine mosaic, which you're going to find that I cannot spell. And it can't either, but it'll figure it out. Or hit create. And we're going to give it just a few minutes. It's thinking. Hi there, thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Hopefully we're going to learn something. So all I did was I changed the style and I told it Byzantine Mosaic because normally we would do the other. Look at the difference, guys. Look at all of this detail that is in this picture. So I'm actually probably going to download that one. Look at this. So it doesn't mean that you're stuck with doing just art. Now, I would probably go back and change it to where I get full image. But this is producing some really cute. Now, this one did do mosaic on the fox as well. And then, of course, we've got this here. We're seeing that religious kind of halo. Again, that same kind of approach. So if you're wanting that halo look to some of your characters, that may be the way you want to go. Alright, so hopefully you've had some time to do your little steampunk hummingbird. And I got totally surprised. This is how I found out that we had version 7 when I did mine today. So here is mine. Then this is the plus. Now, in Midjourney, we can create animation to our images. So is that not neat? That is just really, really exciting for me. So this is the exact prompt that I used for this one. A steampunk hummingbird, mechanical wings, glowing gears in flight with a digital painting. So we told it what we wanted, we told what was involved with it, and we told what kind of style. In this case, the style comes at the end. I told it I wanted version 6 and I wanted AR, which is the ratio, to be a 4:5. So that gives me this shape. If you download the workbook, it's going to give you the different versions and it's going to give you the different ratios. That being said, there is a version 7 that just came out that I found today. So you know how AI is, it's constantly changing. So let's now take this and let's go back to Midjourney. Let me take this exact, a steampunk hummingbird, and let's go back to Midjourney. So a steampunk hummingbird, let's see, with mechanical wings, glowing gears, in flight, and then we're going to change it to Byzantine Mosaic, which I still can't spell that word, sorry. And we're going to hit enter. So as you're waiting, it will show your creation over here. I am in the slow, that's just where I'm at, so it will eventually come up here. You can see, these are the ones I did earlier today with the video, guys. Aren't they neat? I was so excited to find that. And then here's some that I did earlier as well. This one looks like he's falling apart. But let's roll back up here. So I told it to put it in that mosaic. Look at the difference that I've got. To me, this is a really neat art piece. I'm not for sure exactly where I would use it, but again, if I'm wanting to see maybe a more structured metallic look to things, this could possibly be a way to look at it. I'm getting bright jewel tones. You're going to see lots of jewel tones with this particular art style, and those kind of things. So that's Midjourney. And again, I hope to see you email me some of those hummingbirds. That would be really neat for us to take a look at those. Again, the workbook has several different prompts for you to try. It also has the 4 that we're going to be trying throughout all the program. So you're going to have a whole 100 different filters and AI stars. The next one is the one that I use the most. Ideogram I will tell you is probably my most favorite, and you're going to notice because I've got tons and tons and tons of images. Because it is so versatile that you can do so many different things with it. I use it for work as well. But let's go up here to the top, and let's go ahead, just for making sure that we're keeping things kind of the same, let's take a look and see what ideogram, remember him being what our fox looked like. So let's actually, so that you don't think I'm changing anything on you, I'm going to go to Bing. And this is what I do a lot of times. I keep, oh look, he figured out how to spell it. I saw it for a second. I am going to keep this exact phrase, and this is what I do a lot of times. I'll open up all three. I will copy this so that I don't have to redo it, keeping in mind that they each require different things. Now for the wording for ideogram, the way that ideogram likes its items, let's go ahead and skip over to ideogram. It likes to know the style first if we can, so we will need to adjust that a little bit. Then the details in the background. So whereas Midjourney likes the style kind of towards the end. So we're going to go ahead and go back to ideogram. I'm going to move this. You get better results when you put it at the front. A Byzantine Mosaic style, sleepy fox in an enchanted forest, sitting in a teacup, and an elaborate table. So we're going to hit generate. And then I'm going to tell you a couple of things about Ideogram. Now, Ideogram did have some free versions. I know that if you follow Good and Evil Designs, that he did have a link where you could get a few extra items. But like I said, Ideogram is my go-to pretty much for most of my items. Now, Bing gives me my cute items a lot. But again, looking back at what we got from Bing, thinking Saturday morning cartoon looks, right? That kind of gives me Saturday morning cartoon is the best way I could describe it. Well, let's go over here then to what Ideogram created. Same prompt, we just moved it to the front. This is in under also the 2, and I'll explain that in just a second. So if you'll notice, these are more storybook images. Here he got a little mosaic, but notice how much more it's focusing on the details of the enchanted forest than it is necessarily that he's a mosaic. So that is in 2, but you can click here and again go to 3, which is the latest, and hit generate. Now when I'm creating my images for my shirts and things, like this is, oops, this is one of my turtles that I created. I usually do those out of Bing, or I do that in 2 for the ideogram. But notice the coloring. It's getting the rose colors, it's getting the gold. But again, it's more of an artistic approach than it is to a mosaic. These are a lot more defined. Here he is more of a mosaic there. We're getting the gold coloring. We're getting the green nature, the rose coloring as well, which is big with the color period. You can also go to 1 for creative art. I generally, if I have enough credits, I do try all of these because they do so different. I get most of my images for shirts and mugs from 2, but every once in a while I want to go back to 1. Think of 1 as that artist that's just starting. And in this case, it totally gave me something different. But see, we've got the gold, but we've got steam coming down rather than going up. I'm not for sure if that's supposed to be a woodchuck or what in the background there. Again, it picked up on the enchanted forest, but it added the touches for the Byzantine. The gold is the big, so if you're looking for something, try, to see how his leg's sticking out. So it tries, but it does not do quite as well. But sometimes I get some really interesting images from that. So for this one, let's go ahead and I want to see what your version of a sleepy fox in a teacup. He doesn't have to be in a enchanted forest, but I want to see what your version of a sleepy fox is. I'm going to actually just strip this part out, and let's let it totally be creative on its own. So a Byzantine Mosaic style sleepy fox. And let's see what happens when you use just that and you don't give all those extra instructions. Now I will tell you the reason why I like Ideogram is because it can spell like a high schooler. The reason that I say high schooler is because it gets it right most of the time. Now, since I did not put the enchanted forest in there, it is not as confused. And see how I'm getting a mosaic look or a stained glass look almost to this. Here we are with the halo. We're getting the greens and the golds, the rich colors. It decided it was going to put Sleepy Fox on there. Sometimes it puts its own titles. If you're wanting it to say a title, you want to put it in quotations, whatever you want it to say. So if we wanted it to say Sleepy Fox, then that would be fine. If we want to say maybe remember to take a break, we'll put that on there. We'll hit enter. And we'll give it just a few moments, and then it's going to come up and show us some things as well. Again, if you are, thank you for the heart me and the gifts over there. I'm sorry, I do have you on another screen. I'm going to work on my setup so that I can see that a little bit better. If there are chats going on, I am not seeing them, so I do apologize. I'm not for sure. We'll have to work on that as well. Let's go see what it did when I told it to say remember to take a break. Now, look at this. This could be a cute image for a mug for somebody that likes foxes. So it's not just religious things that you can do with these. So remember to take a break. This creates some of the most beautiful fonts. And a lot of times what I end up doing with these fonts is I will take this over to Canva, and then I will take and magic grab this and put it on a different image, because a lot of times, unfortunately, my particular one does not show up with the image that I want. So let's go back to our practice here. So for a practice also to explain to you the differences, remember I told you that there was the different levels. So let me jump back over here real quick. When you click here, it's going to show you a level. So this is 3.0. This is the default for right now until they decide to create another one tomorrow. Design, you can click here. You can let it auto pick. Design will get you more like your t-shirt kind of designs. Realistic will give it more of a realistic look. I'll go ahead and generate one of those while we're talking. And then if you click the 2.0, I go with the 2.0 for realism and design. It will have options that you can choose as well. It has a 3D option that sometimes works well. If you're into anime, it's also got an anime section as well. So let me generate one of those. It will only let me generate one at a time. So this is that realism. So you'll notice it turned my fox into a real picture. So if you're needing a real picture, then that is the way that you need to go for that. I tell you what, let me try. Oops. Does that put that in your way where y'all can't see what's going on? Can somebody try typing something in the chat just so I can see if that allows me to be able to see it? It's good. Okay, thank you. That allows me to be able to see it. So now if you ask questions, I can answer them a lot better. So this is cute. This would be really cute as a magnet, guys. You can go to the craft stores and get little canvas 2x2s. I don't have one with me right now, but basically then you can take and print off little DTFs, and you can hot press those onto it, and then you've got a magnet that you can put on the fridge. So how cute would this be to make a magnet and give it to a teacher? So again, this is what it looks like when you do the realistic. It's sticking the mosaics and the items around it. And then we also did 3D. So please take time to play with these, even with the different types of images. So in this case, it made the fox every time. You'll notice that it pretty much nails spelling almost all the time. As I said, it's a high schooler. Every once in a while, he takes a break from spelling as well. So that's definitely something that you got to be careful with. But let's go back. So again, if you're on level 1, it's creative art. So this is the same image. I picked a futuristic cityscape at night with neon lights and flying cars, with cinematic lighting and sci-fi vibes. Again, this is in your workbook, so if you're wanting to kind of create these kind of images. So this is the difference between them. One is creative art, so kind of early movie poster art maybe. If you do 2.0, it's design and realism, so it starts to look a lot more real, or a design look. And then when we get to 3, it's a lot better, but it gives you contrast and details is really the difference. So here are some other things that you can actually look at and create that are going to be items from the Byzantine Mosaic style. These are animals that are very prominent for that time period, so they're going to very easily be adapted to this particular art style. So a lion for courage, strength, royal power, often Saint Mark symbol. An eagle, so there's a lot of things going on with eagles. You could very easily turn that into some type of Byzantine art. Fish, obviously with the Christian symbol. Peacock, which is the one that I've done down here, which I'll make a little bit bigger here so you can see it. A serpent, again talking about this spirituality. And then the stag. So this is one of my image of a peacock. What can I do with this? I can make this into wall art, guys. Or a lot of people are now taking and putting images on their TVs so that they don't have to frame their TVs. So this could very easily be part of a slideshow even. At work, what I do is I take a Canva presentation and I have a slideshow that runs constantly all day long. And so it shows what is going on in our business and what we're doing. And so it's just like a constant marketing. Here are some others that I did. You'll see these listed in your prompt guide as well. So we've got a cup of coffee that has a brew coming off of it. This is another tree of life. Remember that tree of life from Midjourney was a lot different from this one. Notice how it's a lot lighter. A lot more creative. And then this one's my favorite. Remember that Mosaic guitar that we got from Midjourney? This one right here. I took and put the same prompt into Ideogram, and this is what I got. How cool would that look? Huge on a wall as an art piece. So you don't have to necessarily have this particular look in everything that you do. Although sometimes it is cute if we do it with animals. I actually did these as stickers recently for a cat craft show that I was doing. I had done some shirts for a cat cafe. And so you'll notice that you're seeing the themes though. The halo, the bright jewel tones, the gold backgrounds, all of those. And then we're going to actually show you those right now. So in your workbook, you should have these listed if you've downloaded it. Computer screen's going to make it look slightly different based on the way that your computer is set up. So I've given you the hex codes for these particular suggested colors for this area. So I wanted to make sure that you had those available to you. Again, the gold is often used for halos or backgrounds. It's meaning divine light. The burgundy that you saw that kept coming up, remember the fox with the burgundy flowers? It picked up burgundy because it's used a lot of times for robes and accents. The cobalt blue is often in garments and backgrounds. Emerald green is often used as decorative pattern or trim, so you saw a lot of leaves and greenery in those mosaics. The ivy is obviously for hands and face for the time period. Burnt umber, which is kind of this little weird red-brown color here, that often will give depth and shadows to it. And then we've got jet black for outlining and terracotta for architectural or border. So think of taking all these little pieces that are about this size and building those huge mosaics. That is just wild to me that somebody has talent that could do things like this. So what can I do with this today? Because obviously I don't want to go out and build a mosaic. And again, there's a lot more in the workbook, and I'll show you how to get to the workbook again here in just a moment. But I want to sell product, right? So these are things online, obviously, that I've taken from different sites. So these first three are from ETSY. This necklace, if you're good at making jewelry, this necklace, I think the other day when I looked at it, was going for $1,500. Thank you for the heart, Mies. Sorry, I'm having troubles. I don't have my setup just correct. I've got my chat way over here, so I appreciate it. If anybody's needing to help, just if you can help them out, I greatly appreciate it. Hi, Kayla. Nice to see you. But this is the big one, guys. Digital art. Go online and look and see. These are huge right now. People are getting apartments a lot more than houses, so they can't paint. How are they going to make it their own? They're going to put in art. But still, $1,500 for a necklace. If I could make jewelry, I'd be right there. Digital papers. These are just prints. So again, we can do the digital file, guys. Just make sure that you get it at the ratio that is correct for canvas prints. And then if you're really talented, and God bless you if you are, there's clothing for different kinds of cons, different kinds of Renaissance fairs, those kind of things. And then you can also use it for non-religious things. In this case, these are, yes, poking a little bit. This is my patron saint of deadlines. So on his little latte cup, in the final version, this says late work accepted, and in my t-shirt and my well, I lost it on my coffee mug, but anyway, on my t-shirt it has the big Ghostbuster sign on it. So this would be funny for somebody at work. You could make this into a magnet again at work. You could give it to them as a coffee cup. I think it would show up a lot better on black, but these don't all have to be religious things. Again, I created stickers. These stickers were selling, they were going to be selling 3 for, I think it was, you were going to get 3 for $1, and I had several on a page, so the profit was pretty nice. It was rainy days, so we didn't get a whole bunch sold, but, you know, think out of the box as to what these are. Of course, take this to a vet clinic. Sell this to a vet clinic. Have you seen the art that they hang in hospitals? That art that they hang in hospitals, they pay a lot of money for. Vet clinics don't usually have that much extra income, but they do have some to decorate. How pretty would this be in one of the CAT exam rooms? And this is coming from a vet tech. This would be awesome, I think, rather than some of the things we see. So again, we're going to go back really quick. If you created anything and you want us to show it, we've got snugglysharkart@gmail.com. I'm hoping to get my Discord finished up this week so that you are able to show us in real time what you want to do. On your workbook, you also have a section where you can write down your color codes and your hex codes for things that you create. If you are needing to know what a color is for something, so let's go to this, and let's say we wanted to know what this was color-wise. You will click on the color here. You will click on the plus sign here, And then you can go right out here. Oops, got to get my eyedropper first. Get your eyedropper. Go out here and let's say I wanted to know what this color green is. It's here. In this case, it changed my background, which I could change it back. But right here is my hex code. You would want to write that down. Then you're able to match that if you're needing to match it for anything. And you can do that on any image that you have. Just get the eyedropper, go out here. That's the color gold. Now, I would go back and change the background after I got my hex code, because obviously I don't want him on that color background. But that is the easy way for you to be able to pick up your hex codes and be able to do what you need to do with them. Let's say I wanted those words to match correctly with his robe. And sometimes it's a little tricky. So it picked up a green out of that bluish color. Those are all options. So I'm going to run over to my email in just a second, see if we had any creations submitted tonight. Do you want to let you know that next week we are going to be doing medieval illuminated manuscript. This one I'm really excited about. It is, think of Robin Hood when they have the book out and they're flipping the pages and the beautiful curly cues and nature, all those kind of things, usually set on like a tea-stained paper like background. So that's going to be next week's topic. So I'm really excited about joining into that one. So let's go over real quick and see if I got any submissions. Nope, just says my account's live. So if you want to throughout the week, again, you can submit those to us. It is snugglysharkart@gmail.com. That's kind of hard to read on the screen. snugglysharkart@gmail.com. And then I will be able to show some of those next week for you. If you are interested, if you like the workbook and you want to get some additional workbooks, you are welcome to go again up to my link, get in the tree, and then this first one for this first week is free. So click on it to get it for free. If you're wanting to go ahead and sign up for as these come released, you can click on the art style packages. If you want to just get your feet a little wet, there is this beta package here, which will give you the first 10 that we do. There is a trout package, I'm sorry, they're fish related, that will give you 25 styles. That includes, each of these are about 16 pages long, guys. I do take, this is not all AI. There is some AI there, but a lot of it is researching that I do, so it does take quite a bit of time to do them. But then we got the great package, which is the shark package, and that is 75, and that's going to be all 100 styles. Those will be sent to you in each of these packages on Wednesday as a PDF through your email. And then at the end, if I create it into a total book, which I'm thinking about doing and releasing, if you buy any of these packages, depending on the size package you have purchased, you'll get a certain percentage off of that if you want to buy the print book for it. The only hesitance I have for that is that things change so quickly in the AI world. So that's why I'm looking at sending them out as PDFs right now. If you have any questions, please let me know, but know that this first one is free. Click on it, put in your email, and you're going to get this one for tonight for free. You can either print it down or you can keep it as a PDF and read that as well. So does anybody have any questions real quick in the chat? We're finishing up on time here. Or do they have some idea of an item that they've been wanting to create, but they're just not sure how to do it? I will go ahead and open up the floor for that as well. So if you want to put in the chat an item or suggestion that you have. And then also if you want me to do it in Bing, because I know several of you do not have the subscriptions to the others. But Bing is great because Bing makes cute little cows. So definitely let me know. Is there something? I'll stay on for about another 5 minutes and see if there's something that you would like to see. I am recording this, so hopefully if somebody missed it, we're able to send it out to them. And hopefully as we do this week to week, things will get a little bit smoother. And like I said, I hope to figure out my Discord and have that set up so that we'll also have that as an option for people to be able to interact with each other. So again, thank you for all the gifts. I can see the gifts over there, and 2,500 hearts looks like. That is great. So again, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. If not, I'm going to go ahead and end it for this evening. So I know there were several that missed because they had class tonight with PPA, and that's okay. We're all here to learn, and there's so much out there to learn that it takes time. So, all right, well, y'all have a great evening, and I'm going to go ahead and evidently take care of my cat because she's a little upset about the fireworks. So, y'all have a great evening, and as a vet tech, please, if you need medicine for fireworks, now is the time to get them, not on July 3rd. So, have a wonderful evening, guys. Me and Peggy are going to sign off now. Have a great evening. About all of this. Is everybody seeing my screen okay? It should have some candles and some butterflies going right now. For how long, I don't know. I understand. I know you've got to go to work, so I definitely understand. Things go. Workbook, and you can get it sent to you for free. Just click on that and it will send it to you for free. So that's the one that you're looking for, is the sunflower. If you want to have the workbook to kind of follow along with us this evening, but it's not required. It's just something that allows you to be able to follow along, have some prompts that are a little bit easier to